So I'm not going to be playing Silksong, even though I've been keeping tabs on it and everything else like that. Especially as a business owner, I like getting a gist and idea of where games are, especially when it comes to development costs, how much they're putting money into the game to figure out what they're going to charge, a new price that they're going to charge gamers eventually. Because I know eventually the $100 games are going to be coming on board probably within the next few years, especially with how much money they can make based off of different currencies that they use when it comes to like in-game purchases or V-Bucks, for instance. If you sell out a free game and just you start mass marketing different skins and stuff like that, especially when it uses the same currency since it's not a 1-1 ratio. But with that being said, I've been paying attention to Silksong a lot because of how impressed I am. I'm not into games like that where it's like 2.5D or 2D where you have to basically go back and forth. And you know what? I might be doing myself a disservice because honestly, I should be playing those games. I think the last 2D game I played was back in middle school when I was playing Mini Clip, and all the kids, instead of doing work, we were just basically going on Mini Clip and seeing what we could do. A lot of stick figure games back in the day. But that being said, I'm checking out Steam charts. I'm checking out net revenue, gross sales, everything else like that when it comes to Silksong. And I'm so beyond impressed. And I'm so happy that games that aren't AAA or quadruple A at this point, if you just go on to GTA 6 with how much money they're dumping into it, I think they're at like $3 billion that they just dumped into the game alone. That's not even going to go with costing for advertisement or anything that goes on to mass marketing that franchise and what the bullshit that they're going to spend on that, especially when they're going to also have different currencies with their shark cards, I think it is, when it comes to buying different skins, cars, or anything else like that to get a quick $1 million or V-Bucks, whatever it's called in GTA. I don't really play GTA too much like that, but I have the currency when it comes to the not having a 1-to-1 ratio with $1 gets you a 1 V-Buck or whatever it is. That's a whole separate issue that I want to eventually discuss, but I think is like grimy. I think that's even worse than when it comes to gambling for little kids. Especially when I was younger, we had Contest of Champions and Clash of Clans. Those were things with the most addicting when I was spending my money on. But back to Silksong, I am super impressed. I'm throwing up some stats here. I'm also going to be throwing up some gameplay here. On Steam charts, so far, it peaked at 587,000 players, which is just nuts. I don't even know what it's going to be for PSN, but I'm assuming it's going to be even greater than that because obviously, consoles are still way more mass marketed to people getting into custom PC builds and stuff like that. But obviously PC gaming eventually will be taking the cake because it's just upgrading components and stuff like that. You can see it slowly changing, especially since Sony went over to Steam. So a lot of the games that are basically PSN exclusives are actually going to be going into the Windows system when it comes to Steam and getting stuff like that. The one thing I did want to talk about, especially since the last video I made when it comes to AAA games, are they dying? What's going on with it? This is actually pretty much good news for me because that last video kind of got me upset because I've been playing Code Vein a lot, still trophy hunting on that. But I'm actually pretty impressed that a game like this can basically, and it's funny too, because again, it's going to be scaring game publishers whenever they're talking about, oh, is this a good thing? Is it good for small developer IPs becoming the mainstream rather than all these other companies that, they always want to reach $1 billion. Game journalisms, I fucking hate them. But for the company Team Cherry, I'm super impressed with them. I'm looking all of their numbers when it comes to Steam. I'll show you guys all these things that are popping up. I'm super impressed. I might give it a try. Again, I know I'm doing myself a disservice by not doing it. But so far, it's got around 5.2 Steam wish lists and around 400K people are already playing it. Obviously, when we check the concurrent on Steam, it's breaking over 1 million. I'm pretty sure it has to break at least 2 million just based on the charts alone. And I'm also impressed that they're all doing this with $20. Again, it goes back to what the game industry is trying to produce when it comes to getting you and your mental all ready for $100 games, $150 games, because they eventually will come. But I'm super impressed that not unknown company, but pretty much a low company, not AAA, obviously. Team Cherry to release the game $20. There hasn't been too much mass market when it comes to advertising for this, at least in my personal opinion, besides players that are just recommending like, hey, this game's amazing. So far, I haven't been able to scroll through Twitter without seeing Silksong, so I'm pretty impressed with that. Apparently Silksong isn't the character. Apparently it's just a part of the character in the Hollow Knight series. But yeah, no, I just wanted to make this video just to show my appreciation that companies that are still able to, you know, not low end, but obviously because you still need at least around like $50,000 to $100,000 to develop a game. And I think also that's another reason why this game took so long. I heard that they ran out of funding and they needed to get some more funding, because for the longest time after the first Hollow Knight, it was such a huge break. And they took such a long break because I think of funding. At least that's what Redditors are saying. That's also what I'm seeing. Anything that I type in Silksong on Google or any type of AI algorithm that I'm trying to put it into, it always says that there's at least some speculation of them losing funding. So just super impressed that a company that is pretty much on the lower end is able to climb the Steam charts with this. And especially for $20, I'm super impressed that people are like, hey, here's $20, give us $20 and you get to play this amazing game. Obviously, if the game was shit and released $20, people would be saying the complete opposite, like, oh, they just needed another couple years for development. But for the fact that it is actually a good game, apparently it's a 2.5D or 2D Dark Souls. I don't really agree with that, but obviously just from the reviews that I'm seeing, that's what they're saying. Don't really get that. I think everyone's throwing in Souls-like to any type of game when actually it's really not. This just reminds me of most, like, this is gonna sound bad, but it reminds me of like most mini clip games where it's fun and, you know, it's obviously there's obviously some good development because of the graphics and how it performs and everything else like that. But to call it a Souls-like, I don't think it would be even considered that. But again, that could be a whole different topic for a different video. But yeah, no, super impressed with Hollow Knight. Nothing but praise. Probably not gonna play it. Probably doing myself a disservice, but there's tons of other games I want to play on Steam. Still trophy hunting for Code Vein. But yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video, say how impressed I am with Silksong. That's pretty much it. See you guys.